everybody. This is Maya Zahira with Psychic Protection Sanctuary. And as you probably have already figured out, I like to do my videos out in nature. So here I am again, out at the lake, Shawnee Mission Lake. It's so beautiful out here. And it's sunny and windy, so I've got my cowgirl hat, just like a Kansas girl, because if you didn't know, I'm in Kansas right now. Okay, so I actually have a bit of a rant that I want to go into today. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Maybe it's going to be short, but I never really know. But I just want to touch base on something that really pisses me off. Before I go into that, though, I want to let you know how you can get more information from me, access to deeper material, and that is on our Psychic Protection Sanctuary Facebook group. So if you're interested in more, then go on Facebook and type in Psychic Protection Sanctuary and be sure to join that group. We actually have a Facebook Live. Right now we've been doing them every first and third Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central. And they're usually 45 minutes to an hour, and they're totally free. Okay, now to the rant. Okay, so I go out in the community a lot to different spiritual events, different psychic fairs, holistic fairs, you name it, just all sorts of different events where there's all sorts of colleagues and people who are in similar fields and so on. And so I talk with a lot of people, and I just want to say I'm very open-minded, and I do accept that everybody is entitled to their own view. And so I get it. But now I want to give my opinion. So in the moment when I'd be talking to some of these people, I would be polite and just let them have their own view. But now I've got your attention, and we are going to talk psychic protection here. Okay, so I've run into a couple of people who've said things like, psychic protection is so simple. It's just so simple. What's the big deal? Why do you have to go into all these details about it? Like, what's the big deal? It's just so simple. You know, just make sure you pray or meditate every day. Make sure that you're grounded. Make sure that you're connected with source energy. And then you're fine. It's simple. That's what I'm going to rant about today. And then I also had someone tell me recently, which is basically the same thing but in different words. They said that the idea of all of this in-depth psychic protection material is very childish. That's the word that they used, childish. And what they said was, I'm just going to rephrase it a little bit. I don't remember exactly what they said, but it was something like, if you are having a psychic protection issue in your house, just sprinkle some holy water and that'll take care of it. So what's the big deal? All this other stuff you're going through is just childish. Quotes, childish. Okay, I will admit that one really made me mad, and I have a really long fuse. I'm not a person that gets mad very easily, but I did get mad. And one of the main reasons why I get mad about comments like that is because I'm a mama bear protector. I have that fierce mama bear energy in me that I feel very protective of all of the clients and students that I work with who have had actual, real psychic protection issues. And I'm talking about not just mild stuff, but people who have been sexually assaulted by entities. You know, hope that doesn't freak you out, but I mean people who have had not just a little bump in the night that scared them, but like truly traumatizing stuff that has happened to either them or their children, okay? And I help people with these kinds of issues. I also help people with the softer kinds of issues, like being an empath and being sensitive to energies. But it's that fierce protectiveness that comes up for me about the people who have had serious issues, real issues, okay? And when people say, oh, it's just so simple, or all that is so childish, just do this little quickie thing and that'll take care of it. In the last week, I've really taken some time to think about, like, what were they really saying? The couple of people that made those kinds of comments. What were they really saying? And I don't claim to know what's in people's hearts. But what I think, when people say those kinds of things to me, like, oh, it's so simple, or it's just childish, just don't worry about it, it's nothing. That tells me that they have actually never really had any type of serious psychic protection encounter, which is great. That is great news. It's awesome that they've never had to deal with anything serious or terrifying. Let's hope that that is the case for everybody. Okay? But that's why they think it's simple. Okay? So one of the things that I was thinking about recently was, like, I was venting to a friend the other day, and I said, yeah, psychic protection is simple. It is simple. You ground, stay connected with source, take good care of your energy maintenance, and be aware of what's around you. And it's simple until it's not simple. It's simple until it's not. It is simple until, oops, you accidentally moved into a haunted house, or oops, you went to an energy healer who had something horrible attached to him or her, and then that gets attached to you. Oops. Or you go to some spiritual event that you think is going to be a good event, only to find out that you're under major psychic attack. Or you go to maybe not a spiritual event, but some other social event, or maybe you go out to a bar with some friends, or go out to a movie or whatever, and something that's attached to somebody there attaches to you, and suddenly you're under entity attack or psychic attack. Oops, it's not so simple anymore, because just visualizing white light and having positive intentions and focusing on the positive, those are all great things, okay? I'm not saying they're not great things. Those are all great things, but they don't help you one effing bit. I'm sorry. If you are in the middle of getting attacked by a demonic entity, just focusing on the positive, that does not make it go away, okay? I can't preach this enough to people. Oh my gosh. And in fact, I have people message me or post things at least once a week. And I won't be so hard on these people. These are, these are not spiritual teachers, but people who are truly wanting to learn. So that's why they're asking, but they're repeating what their past spiritual teachers have told them over and over again. And they're saying, well, if I just focus on gratitude, or I just focus on the positive, then that's enough to protect me, right? And I'm constantly answering that question over and over again. No, it's not. It's not enough. Now, if you are focusing on the positive in your life and you're focusing on gratitude, overall, you are going to be drawing in more positive energy into your life. And that's how energy works. Okay, so if you're radiating positive energy, then you're going to be more magnetic for more positive opportunities and positive people in your life. But that doesn't necessarily keep negative things from coming in. Okay, so and I know this from my own life. I know it from all of the clients that I've worked with who've been so very positive, uplifting people, and they've still had crazy shit happen to them. Okay, so being positive isn't some like impenetrable psychic shield. It just isn't. I wish that it was. I wish it was simple, and it's simple until it's not. Okay? It's simple until, oops, some circumstance happens, and then you have to get into the more complicated stuff. So when people say that, oh, if there's a spiritual teacher or healer who says, oh, it's just so simple, why do you make it so complicated? Or someone who says, it's so childish, all that stuff that you go over is just like childish. Just, actually this one person was saying that I'm not going to give too many details, but this is a ranting video, more than my usual videos. They said, well, I'm a third degree, I'm not going to say what they are, a third degree blah, blah, blah. And so I know more than you do. And so all you need to do is just sprinkle holy water, is what they said. And everything else you're going over is childish. I'm like, well, that's great. I'm glad that you're a third degree whatever. But clearly you've never actually encountered an entity actually ever had to deal with a serious type of attack of any kind. Good for you, but don't be, it's an insult to all of the people who've gone through actual horrific events. So that's my rant. So, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinions, but you better bet that I'm going to be defending, this mama bear is going to be defending anybody who poo-poos these real experiences that happen to people. Let me think if there's anything else that I want to say. Actually, I kind of want to start a discussion. So I'll be posting this video a couple different places. Now, I recognize not everybody has had severe psychic protection issues, and that's good. Like, not everyone is going to have issues like that. That's good. My philosophy is it's better to be prepared. That's why I went and took martial arts classes for a while, because I'm not going to assume that I'm going to be attacked or mugged or something, but it's good to know what to do. If someone grabs you from behind, there's certain personal protection techniques. It's the same thing. Or learning how to drive defensively, taking a defensive driving class. You're not going to assume that you're going to get into a horrible car accident, because not everyone does, but you want to be prepared just in case. Well, that's my philosophy with all of the stuff that I teach with psychic protection, is that my hope is that these kinds of things, the really severe things, moderate and severe circumstances, my hope is that they don't happen to you. But I do have clients contacting me every single week who have had these kinds of things. So let's start a discussion. I want to know what you think. Especially, let's have kind of a rant session. So anybody who's gone through any kind of psychic protection issue, whether it was mild, moderate, or severe, did you have any kind of response from your community, from your friends, or from anyone that you went to for help? Perhaps a healer, an energy healer, or a teacher or something. Did you get a non-supportive or poo-pooing kind of response from them? Actually, I'm going to tell one story just to tie this up, and then we'll be done. So, I actually had a really crazy thing happen. Let's see, how many years ago? I don't know, 15 or more years ago. I'm not going to do the math right now, but I was living in Manhattan, Kansas. So kind of a small, it's not a tiny town, but kind of a small college town, and in the middle of Kansas. And I decided to move a little bit out of town, 10 minutes out of town, to go stay with this lady at her farmhouse. And the idea was that I was going to be saving money, because I was planning on moving in 6 months to the big city in Lawrence, which is closer to Kansas City. If you don't know, Kansas City is a big metropolitan area. I know I'm dressed really hick right now, but it's because it's hot and it's sunny. But this is a normal big metropolitan area that we're in, and I'm just at the park. But where I moved to was out in the country, and it was an old farmhouse, really nice old lady, and her name was Ruby. And that always made me think of like the Ruby Slippers and Dorothy, because it really was Kansasville out there. It was like fields and farmland and everything. Anyway, I should have known better, because I knew enough back then even that I should have known better. I should have checked to see if there were any kinds of ghosts in the house before I even agreed to move in there. But I didn't, because I was eager to do what I wanted to do. So I didn't check, but I figured it out really fast. The first night that I moved in, as I was falling asleep, I closed my eyes, I lay my head back on the pillow, and like the moment that I closed my eyes, I know I wasn't asleep, because I literally had just closed my eyes, and I all of a sudden heard what sounded like hundreds of really loud whispers. Hundreds of really loud whispers all at once. And I couldn't tell what they were saying, but I knew immediately that there were lots of them. And I knew that they were spirits. And as I laid there, I actually said out loud, "Oh crap, this place is haunted. I should have known better." And, but I had already given up my apartment that I'd been renting, and I had already moved in, and I was there. So I stayed, and I won't go into the full story. I won't go into all of the details. I go into the full story in my book, Darkness Disguised as Light, which is not available yet as I'm doing this video, but it will be soon. It's actually the first chapter. I won't go into all the details, but I will say that one of the spirits there was a very, very evil spirit. And it actually appeared a couple times. It just looked like this black energy. It also spoke into my ear one time. It said my name, and it sounded like if someone is right here, like right there next to you, and whispering into your ear really loud. I mean, it was like that. It didn't sound far away. It sounded like that little mofo. Oh, so I was so mad at him. He was nasty, and I could not get him to clear out. But he was right here close to me, and he also attacked me in the middle of the night. I say he because he definitely felt like a he. I woke up in the middle of the night, and he was on top of me, and doing some things that he shouldn't have been. And then by the next day, I became very physically ill, and remained ill for a number of months with a mysterious illness. Okay, so that's part of my past. That's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about helping people with these kinds of issues. So I was gonna, the reason why I was gonna tell this story is because we're ranting, right? So 6 months after this happens, and I've moved away from that house. I've moved closer to the big city, and I have an appointment with a local shaman there, an energy healer. And I go in because I need help with what happened to me spiritually. And I was very, very ill, and no doctors could figure out what was wrong with me. I actually thought that I was going to die from whatever was wrong with me. And so I went in, and I talked to this male shaman, told him what had happened, and I'm in the treatment room. I'm on the treatment table, and I tell him what happened and how this being it sexually assaulted me and did all these horrible things, and that I had been very ill since then. And he looked at me, and he just sighed, and rolled his eyes. He rolled his eyes at me, And he said, entities can't do that to you. That's not how it works. And at the time, I just like shrugged my shoulders and just was like, okay, because I thought that he knew more than I did, because he was older than me, and I don't know if he was more experienced or not, but I just thought, well, he must know what he's talking about. And now, looking back, he was full of BS. All due respect to his path and everything, but that's bullshit, okay? So that's my story about going through, that I have a few different stories, but that's my one for today, about going through something really horrible due to an entity attack, and having a healer just poo-poo it and say entities can't do that, it's no big deal, whatever. So let's do a bit more ranting. Wherever you're watching this video, go ahead and post your comments. Have you ever had a situation where you had some kind of psychic protection issue and you went to someone that you thought that you could trust, a spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, whatever, and you didn't get the support that you needed? Or maybe you went to friends or family and they thought that you were cray-cray and that you were making it up. So let's do a little sharing session. There's nothing more powerful than feeling heard, than knowing that people who really understand are hearing you and holding space for you. So if you feel called to do so, share a little bit or a lot of your story, and let's do some sharing. Okay, I want to give you a few details about how you can connect with me if you feel called to do so. So once again, I have a free Facebook group. It's a community group. It is, It's closed. So, which means that the public can't see all of the posts, but you can type it into the search bar in Facebook, Psychic Protection Sanctuary, and click that you want to join. And then you do have to answer a couple questions, because we want to keep the group really good and high vibe, and only people who are really wanting help in there. So I do ask that you answer a couple of simple questions, and then I'll go ahead and let you into the group. And we have all sorts of great resources and sharing in there every single day. And then I also have my website where you can sign up for courses and all sorts of other things. So my website is www.psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. Again, that's www.psychicprotectionsanctuary.com.